Fortnite's brand new event is already starting to kick off, and if you didn't know already, yes, there is in fact a monster hidden within the ice of Polar Peak, and today we're taking another in-depth look into what this actually is, what this creature is doing, the potential, believe it or not, of a Godzilla promo crossover with Fortnite, new leaked in-game files, and also teasers and actual hints as to what is coming directly within the Fortnite map itself, all within this video. Gonna be a crazy one. Never thought I'd be saying some of the things we're about to say, so stick around to find out more. And if you want to help this video out, just spend 2 seconds clicking that thumbs up button. The more likes we can get on this video, the more it helps. So just spending a few seconds doing that, go on, do it right now, is so important. It's the best thing you can do to help my videos, so thank you everyone. Without further ado, we've got some juicy information to get into. Now, if you're sat there and thinking, what on earth is going on? You are just chatting so much rubbish right now, Ali, then you may have missed my last video. I'll summarize the basics, but if you have missed it, definitely go out and check it. Ultimately, the first teasers and the first going-ons leading to a huge event, which is codenamed Catus within the Fortnite in-game files, has already started to kick off, and ultimately we will start to see through this brand new crack that was formed in Polar Peaks, which was initially set off by rubble and debris from the volcanic eruption. Inside the cracks that are forming, inside the winds that we're getting, the ice that is now actually falling off and shaking off of the mountain, is a creature which will ultimately start to reveal itself initially with eyes, then a head, and then I am sure it will come out and ultimately either damage the map, either we'll have to battle it, or basically just lead up to a huge in-game event. Now, we talked about that and more details in depth in the other video. Today we're going to be talking about what the creature can actually be, having digging up more information sent from you guys and found through leakers, all within in-game files. First up, we've got hints that are directly there in front of us in the world of Fortnite. One of them is one of the most OG parts of the map and has been talked about literally since the beginning. If you did not know, there was a tiny little hut near where Greasy Grove used to be and near where now is ultimately Polar Peaks, which has a giant print on the ground, which many people have been speculating is dinosaurs, a big creature, something that ultimately roamed the map or did roam the map for ages and ages and ages. Now, my first opinion on what the monster could be within the actual ice sculpture initially was a dinosaur. Today we're going to be focusing on other possibilities and potentially it linking in with the Godzilla film, which contains huge, massive creatures. But this footprint is, and ironically so close to the actual creature that is within Polar Peaks. Potentially this is one of the original forms of the monsters that actually was on the island before it was frozen away, lost for thousands of years potentially, and re-arrived on the map through the underside of the iceberg that hit in Season 7. As we can see, obviously the footprint is massive, the creature is massive, but that's not all. Now, ultimately what we are hearing and seeing, and the creature will be coming from Polar Peaks, is the lower level of the actual mountain of ice that is Polar Peaks itself. We can't go underground and we can't start digging away, we can't pull out our pickaxes, although they would do a great job of breaking the ice. It won't let us do that in game, obviously. So the only other place that we can explore that is actually underground is a tiny little Easter egg spot just towards the far southern part of the map, which has been there again ever since the entrance of Season 7, and is actually a little ice cove where underneath it we actually do get a look underneath the snow and what's in there. The cool thing is there is bones, and there's a lot of bones, meaning that the actual containment of a creature, of a big animal, of something which we are now hearing is obviously very true, because other creatures in the past have been frozen within the ice. They haven't survived, obviously, with their bones being left. So this creature is clearly bigger, stronger, and a lot more powerful if it's able to withstand this massive freezing process, and is now finally coming out. Okay, this is where things are going to get interesting, and bear with me because this may blow your mind. It is actually crazy. So for those of you guys that don't know, there is a brand new Godzilla film actually coming out this week. It goes by the name Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and actually sees several huge monsters and creatures within the world of Godzilla fighting it out and ultimately wanting to be that #1 creature. Godzilla is obviously the one that we know, and first of all, yes, the footprint could very well match up with Godzilla and the footprint that we've just talked about, but there's actually another creature within the trailer which weirdly enough matches up in more ways than one with all of the going-ons that we've had so far. Now, as we know, Fortnite have been really hot on their collaborations. We've had Avengers leading straight into John Wick, almost back to back, and then suddenly straight away we've got the Jordan and Fortnite promotion and collaboration. So they're literally on a roll right now, and loads of big films, companies, sportsmen, everything are all tying in with Fortnite. Now, typically, these are limited time modes. They only last for a short amount of time. So for something to link in with an actual in-game event as a part of the Fortnite story has never been seen before. But there are really weird and almost identical comparisons I'm about to share with you guys. There's either going to be two outcomes. Yes, this could be the craziest collaboration we've ever seen. Or two, things are just weirdly similar, and a lot of the inspiration and of the creature that we're ultimately going to see just ends up being very similar to what I'm about to show you in the Godzilla trailers, because the film isn't out yet. It's coming out later this week. So let me just continue the video, show you what we've got, and you guys can make a decision as well down below. Remember, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that thumbs up button to support the video. It just takes a few seconds, and subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest Fortnite news and information. So click both of them right now. Have you done it? Awesome. Well, let's take a look at these crazy bits of info. So the monster from this new film that we're focusing on is called Ghidorah. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong, but Ghidorah is essentially a huge beast. It is a dragon with several dragon heads with a massive wingspan. It's basically just a freak of nature, extremely big, extremely huge, and is very scary. Now, the way that Ghidorah is actually introduced into the brand new Godzilla film is very weird. Firstly, it is found frozen in ice. I'm not joking. That is initially how it is found within the film, stored there for goodness knows how long, and is ultimately not disturbing anyone. However, ultimately in the film there was loads of monsters that were all battling it out, but again, just focusing on this one, found in the ice and is stored there and being looked at and basically being observed. It ultimately breaks out of the ice. I actually believe one of the humans sets off a massive explosion to break it free. But either way, it comes out and enters the world, just like the monster is hiding within the ice in Polar Peaks. Now, so far, all we've gotten of the Polar Peaks monster is the eye image that's been data mined, and we know that we're going to be getting a head through the in-game files, which have all been named, and it's all going under the codename Catus, which apparently is Latin for actually cat, but we know Fortnite like to name their events weird names that don't necessarily mean anything, just for the sake of throwing us off the trail. But going back to Ghidorah, which is frozen in ice, it then goes on to not only actually have volcanic eruptions and massive monster erupt also from a volcano as well, because we obviously have a massive volcano in the Fortnite map too, but the bigger thing and the scarier thing and the really crazy thing is actually an in-game audio file that's been found already, which I'm going to play, and then I'm going to compare it to an audio file from the Godzilla film of the exact same creature that we're talking about. So this is the in-game audio file that's been leaked. It's extremely freaky, a little bit disturbing, can't lie, but it makes a lot more sense if you compare it with the creature and the sound from the Godzilla trailer. Listen to the actual creature noise from this clip of the trailer. Whew, what did I say? That is weird. Very similar. Now, as I said, there's obviously two routes here. Potentially, this creature could emerge from the ice and could be a big collaboration and link in with the film and be a cool creature that we actually battle and fight, and it is linked in with an awesome limited time mode where the whole server has to take on a big creature, something that has been talked about and has been theorized for a long time as a limited time mode. Or this creature simply takes inspiration and is very similar in form and also in sound to these creatures that we're seeing in Godzilla, which is a great example of how crazy and big these mutant creatures can be. Now, if you watch my other video, you know that I mentioned the hybrid eggs that were found in the dungeon on top of the Polar Peak Castle, and how for these hybrids to be formed, there needs to be some sort of original dragon creature merged with the human creature to create the actual hybrid skin that we got in the last battle pass. And I talked about the idea of the dragon, or a dragon, being underneath Polar Peaks. And the crazy thing is, this creature has 3 heads. It looks very much like a dragon. It actually ties into that theory pretty well of there being a bigger, stronger, original creature that the Fire King used to create these crazy hybrid eggs, which we've seen last season. This dragon, 3-headed creature thing, could potentially be what ultimately formed the original eggs. And that's even crazier because it does tie in fairly well. Looking at more in-game files and having a look at the names of them, we know that there's a lot more to come. We obviously know that we're going to have the eye and then the head, which we talked about before, but there's also going to be in there transparent ice, which no doubt will allow us to see the creature a little bit better in that area at the bottom, which is starting to melt away and where the initial impact ultimately happened on polar peaks. We've also got Catus Breath as well, Catus Breathing, and Catus Mist. Obviously remembering Catus is the name of this creature, name of this event, name of everything that's going on within polar peaks. We've also got chunks, ice chunks falling and debris actually falling, which no doubt has started to happen in a small way already through the little shakes we're getting and the tremors that the creature is actually causing inside the ice as well. But the weirder thing here is that the event's called Catus, but there's also files for a Dogus as well. So there's the cat code name, the dog code name. Does that mean we're going to get this crazy Ghidorah monster being defrosted out of the ice? And then maybe the Dogus code name is actually Godzilla, who's already got that giant footprint coming into the map as well. Are we going to get both of them? Godzilla does come out of the water, re-emerges from the trailer from the water. So maybe Godzilla comes out from the edge of the island and this big creature comes out from polar peaks. I mean, honestly, it's just weird how similar some of the things are within this film. And if I was a betting person, I'd honestly say I don't think we would see something as big as this in-game for an event just for a crossover with a movie or any sort of promotion. Typically, Fortnite's storyline is separate. What's more interesting is just getting an idea of the creature, the noises, the sounds, the look, and how big it's going to be as this whole event progresses and as we start to find out more. No doubt with this week's update, once it's announced, once it's released, and once the game files go live, we will see changes and things will start to evolve even more around polar peaks. And by the end of the week, which is when the film comes out, if we get news about some sort of collaboration or not, that will basically let us know instantly whether or not this is some sort of tie-in. But either way, whatever happens, you guys know that I'm going to be looking into all of it, staying on top of all of the in-game files, and letting you guys know all of the information for this event and more within the world of Fortnite, because it's crazy. Could be the biggest thing we've ever seen, and it's certainly leading up to be one of the biggest things we've ever seen, and I cannot wait to see even more in-game as this progresses. Whew, crazy stuff, right? If you've got any thoughts, do let me know down below in the comment section. You guys are often the ones sending me this information and letting me know first, so I really, really appreciate it. As always, make sure you subscribe for the latest news and information. If you want to see my previous video talking about more in-game files and about this event, do click on screen here or check out my Fortnite playlist, which has everything in it. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow as always for another video. Goodbye.